Imagine witnessing this. A ship sailing against hurricane-force winds, its sails glowing with unearthly fire, crewed by skeletal figures frozen in time. And then, it vanishes. This wasn't the tale of a drunken sailor. Royal Navy officers, King George V, and entire crews across centuries documented the same terrifying vessel. Ah, I see you've already begun your expedition. Very well, let's explain what exactly you're chasing. The legend begins with a Dutch captain named Hendrick van der Decken. In 1641, he sailed towards the Cape of Good Hope, the most dangerous waters on Earth. When a deadly storm struck, his crew begged him to turn back. Van der Decken refused. He lashed himself to the wheel, cursed God, and vowed, "I shall round this cape even if I must sail until Judgment Day." The ship vanished with all hands. But Van der Decken kept his promise. His ghost ship, the Flying Dutchman, was condemned to sail those waters forever, bringing doom to any who see it. Is this just another sailor's tale? Historical records tell a different story. Dutch East India Company logs from the 1600s document multiple ships named Vliegend Hollander, Flying Dutchman, that disappeared rounding the Cape. More shocking, they identified a real Captain Hendrick van der Decken, who commanded voyages between Holland and Java. His ship disappeared in exactly these waters. The Cape of Good Hope wasn't called the graveyard of ships for nothing. Over 2,000 vessels met their end in these treacherous currents. Hundreds of wrecks still lie beneath these waters. But it's the sightings that defy explanation. In 1881, future King George V and his crew aboard HMS Briganti documented a Flying Dutchman encounter in official Royal Navy logs. They wrote, "A strange red light as of a phantom ship glowing in the midst of which light the mast, spars and sails of a brig stood out." 13 witnesses all saw the same impossible vessel, all signed sworn statements. Hours later, the sailor who first spotted the Dutchman fell to his death from the topmast, just as the legend predicted. The most baffling part, the consistency of these sightings across centuries. Different witnesses, different ships, different eras, all describing the same phenomena. So, what were they actually seeing out there in those deadly waters? Well, that's one way to investigate a maritime legend. Let's take a closer look at those witness reports. The Cape of Good Hope creates the perfect setting for a maritime legend. Ferocious storms can arise in minutes. Winds exceed 100 miles per hour. Waves tower over 30 meters high. But what truly makes these waters unique is how they bring together three ocean currents: warm Agulhas, cold Benguela, and Antarctic Circumpolar, creating extreme temperature differences. This matters because of what happens next. When rapid temperature changes occur between water and air, a rare phenomenon appears, the Fata Morgana. It's not just a mirage, it's a complex atmospheric lens. The Fata Morgana doesn't just distort images, it can make distant objects appear to float above the horizon. Ships beyond the curvature of Earth become visible, seemingly sailing in the sky. Most critically, it preserves details with extraordinary accuracy. Distant vessels appear with perfect clarity, sometimes magnified or elongated. But here's where it gets truly strange. The most detailed Flying Dutchman sightings share 7 consistent elements across 400 years. The ship sails against prevailing winds, it appears surrounded by a glowing light or mist, it moves at impossible speeds, the crew appears frozen or moving in slow motion, attempts to signal it receive no response, it vanishes suddenly, sometimes dissolving into mist. Misfortune often follows the sighting. Modern science can explain some of these elements, The Fata Morgana explains the ship's appearance and vanishing. St. Elmo's fire, electrical discharge during storms, explains the glowing sails. But other details still remain puzzling. In 1923, SS Orang Medan reported contact with the Flying Dutchman. Hours later, all crew members were found dead, with expressions of terror frozen on their faces. No cause of death was ever determined. So, if the Flying Dutchman combines real atmospheric phenomena with actual historical vessels, what's behind the most inexplicable sightings? You're taking this quite seriously. Good. Because the next explanation may be the strangest yet. The Cape of Good Hope creates a perfect laboratory for bizarre optical effects. When specific atmospheric conditions align, something truly extraordinary happens. Under specific circumstances, a Fata Morgana can create a temporal mirage, reflecting not just distant objects, but light that has been trapped in atmospheric channels for extended periods. In essence, certain weather conditions can project images of ships that pass through the same waters hours or even days earlier. The cold Benguela current meeting warm Agulhas waters creates temporal inversions of precisely the right variation to form these atmospheric waveguides. But this only explains sightings of actual ships, not a 17th century vessel appearing in modern times. And here's where maritime history offers a startling possibility. The Dutch East India Company built ships to standardised designs for over 200 years. Same sail configuration, same hull design, same flag. This creates a remarkable possibility. Witnesses might be seeing reflections of actual historical ships, light trapped in atmospheric channels for weeks, months, or even years under extremely rare conditions. The most compelling scientific theory combines multiple phenomena. Fata Morgana creating elevated images of distant ships, St. Elmo's fire creating luminous effects on sails, temperature inversions trapping and projecting light for extended periods, and identical vessels following identical routes across centuries. But science still struggles to explain the most baffling aspect: how multiple independent witnesses could report identical details of the crew's appearance and behaviour. In 1941, a German submarine crew documented seeing a sailing vessel with damaged rigging off the Cape. After the war, researchers discovered 4 different ships from 4 different nations reported the identical vessel on the same day, from positions hundreds of miles apart. Perhaps most fascinating, even with modern meteorological understanding and satellite technology, new sightings continue to be reported. Just last year, 3 separate vessels documented a ghost ship with red sails in the exact waters where Van der Decken reportedly met his fate. The Flying Dutchman may be partly explained, but it isn't finished sailing yet. An impressive experiment, though I suspect the real thing might require fewer coconuts and less duct tape. Some stories fade with time, others refuse to sink. They drift between fact and legend until we can't tell the difference. The Flying Dutchman may never have been real in the way we want it to be, but something is still out there, and it keeps sailing. Yes, I agree. That's enough tropical islands for one lifetime.